How's it going, my lovely death disciples? I am the Shadow Reaper, and today we're going to continue our life and suffering of Sir Brante Let's Play. Where last we left off, we had begun setting up our print shop. Or, well, not necessarily air quotations print shop, because it is a bit more of a business than it is a spy network at the moment, but it's still gonna have a spy network where it's gonna be a place where we can run a few things, plot some things, manipulate some things, and we were able to have a little bit of a family reunion, including Stefan, unfortunately, but everybody else was fine. Even Dad kind of was. Robert was actually, at first he was just like, oh shit, this is gonna go terribly, but then he just surprisingly just embraced me in a warm hug, and it's just like, I was not expecting that, but at the same time I love it, thank you. And we also had another party as well, or a social gathering with the nobility. And once again, this time kind of out of no choice, we invited Father to introduce Gloria and Mother, and well, that ruined our reputation a little bit, but it made our family more united. Gloria got to spend some time over at the spas in a different place for a month and have a little vacation, and yeah, so a lot of things happened. We did also come across a poetry society, which caused a bit of unrest in Magra, but yeah, that's pretty much what we've gotten so far. So let's continue onward in the time of peace, so we can see how things go from here. Okay, so here's where we assure Sophia that the Underground Society could use these gifted young men and women. They are still so young, so trusting. Makes sense to recruit them. Okay, I'll let you handle this. For next week, you diligently attend every single meeting of the Poetry Society. Okay, so we've read about this from the last one. Bring them to the Last Straw hideout. Your poetically endowed recruits eagerly join the ranks of the society. They quickly become a cornerstone of your organization. Their voices turn the dissonant gaggle of voices into a heartfelt choir, eager to act, eager to riot. Their poems are quoted more and more often by the Last Straw members. They are declaimed by young people in the squares and on the streets. They are put to music and sung in taverns. They are written in paint and soot on the walls. More and more young people recite them instead of prayers. I want to scream, can't take this anymore. Brante, you are right about recruiting them. They never cease to amaze me. They're so sincere, it's infectious. When they speak, sometimes even I forget about the sleazy game we're playing. So we did lose a little bit of spy network, but we did add a little bit more discontent from it. And of course we gained a little bit of eloquence, and we are no longer tongue-tied, we are now of clear speech. After all, if you're going to be one of manipulation, a little bit of eloquence never hurts. Now, what do we have here? The Archduke and the Overseer. Two powerful lords have been struggling for power in Magra for over 2 years now. The new overseer of the province, Gaius Tempest, cannot seem to rein in the obstinate spirit of Archduke Tarquinius Milanatus. Unwilling to accept that he is no longer the overseer of Magra, the Archduke still stubbornly continues to assert his right to rule the province. Most of Magran gentry, who swore allegiance to him generations ago, remain loyal to him even now. Gaius Tempest has publicly demanded that the Archduke recognize the Overseer's rule as legitimate. I am the voice and the will of the Emperor Uther II in the province of Magra. All lands, deeds, and titles notwithstanding, Archduke Milanatus must obey his sovereign's will and heed his decree. I hereby extend to the Archduke an offer of peace. Should the Archduke cease his insubordination, his lands, deeds, and titles shall remain his own. The Archduke's response to the Overseer was openly defiant. Just letting you know, Archduke, the last time your family rebelled did not end well. I don't think it's gonna end well this time. Unless, of course, maybe someone were to give you some help, but we'll have to see about that now, won't we? Since the days of yore, the land of Magra have belonged to the Milanatus dynasty. We are part of the Empire, and we are the Emperor's loyal servants. However, our dynasty will not stand for such intrusion upon our lawful rights and privileges. Never before has an Archduke been stripped of his right to represent the Emperor's rule in his own province. So do not forget, Sir Overseer, that the highest noble families of Magra have sworn fealty to me alone. Neither the Archduke nor the Overseer will relent, but both are too powerful to be readily disposed of. The bad blood between the two Archneans has festered for too long, and the common people have begun to pay the price for their strife. Well, it would appear that there was unrest that even I didn't have to be responsible for. How intriguing. Stripped of the Overseer's tax privileges, the Archduke Milanidas has decided to impose his own levy upon the citizens and villagers of Magra. Oh, that's not good. The commoners are now forced to pay taxes twice, first to the Overseer and then to the Archduke. This double burden is too much for the common people of Magra to bear. Many have refused the second tax outright as a lawless measure, but the Imperial Legion, led by young Dorius Otten, is ruthless. Eagerly and without mercy, the Legion soldiers collect the Archduke's due in cities and villages alike. So then it would appear that Dorius Otten is loyal to Archduke Milanidas on that account. Both Magra -1, security, order -1, power +1, -1. So discontent, struggle for power, and security is where we're at. Yes. Shamefully, it does not increase the unrest, but I feel like it should. A gift for the family. This last year has been an ordeal for your family. The pains taken to be ennobled by the sword, the close attention of the city aristocrats, the squabbles between Stefan and Gloria. I thought we took care of that last one. Tonight, your preoccupied father has gathered the entire family around a table in the backyard. The sun is almost set and there is a soft breeze, but instead of a meal in the open air, you are going to attend a family meeting. In the middle of the table, you see an open gilded box. It is full of jewels. Archduke Milanidas himself has bestowed this gift upon us. It is a surprise indeed. I thought you all had a right to know. Father unfolds a letter laying beside the box. Sir Robert Brante, I bestow this precious box upon you and your family as a symbol of the care with which I treat the people of my province. Pray accept this gift, and remember with whom the loyalty of the true nobles of Magra lies. Archduke of Magra, Tarquinius of the Milanidas. The family stares in amazement at the jewels sparkling in the last rays of sunshine. It's worth quite a fortune. The Archduke is fully aware that I am on the side of Prefect Elborn and Overseer Gaius Tempus. Would he really expect our loyalty to be bought so brazenly? On the other hand, the Archduke is not demanding anything of us, and our family has borne a lot of expenses recently. Father, no one is forcing you to side with Milanidas. Who are we in comparison to the Archduke anyway? We must not anger him by refusing his gift. The jewels are certainly welcome. They are worthy of being shared with the best families of Anisote. They will pave our way to the nobility of the sword. Mother shakes her head glumly. Oh, Robert, I have a feeling this gift bodes ill. It may be an impertinence on my part, but I do not want our family to be indebted to the Archduke. Yeah, I'm kind of with my mom on this, because normally sending a gift bears a favor, in a sense. A favor that we must be indebted to the person who sent the gift. Apparently, Stefan, despite being of nobility, has not taken up the idea of expecting any political hooking with gifts such as this, or how the political field works. Certainly not. Accepting gifts from Milanidas. He's infamous for oppressing the commoners and robbing villages blind with his taxes. This isn't your decision, Gloria. It's a matter of our family's honor and reputation. Please don't start bickering again. Let Volker say what he thinks we should do with this gift. You are the center of attention now. Your vote will be the deciding factor. Sell the jewels. You accept the jewels from the Archduke in order to sell them for a good price. Decline the gift, Robert Brante 3. Give the jewels to prominent nobles as a gift. Diplomacy 11, we are at 9, so that doesn't work. And we do not have good relations with Stefan, so that's obviously not going to work. So I'm thinking we shall decline the gift. because I am not going to be indebted to someone I have no favoritism to. Looking the family patriarch straight in the eye, you state that such a gift is not to be accepted. The Archduke will see it as an oath of allegiance to him. It would be better to provoke his anger than to fall into his trap. Ask Father to send the box back at once.
No, I suppose you're right, Olga. It is far too dangerous, not only for me, but for the entire family. I'll write to the Archduke. Bring me my quill.
It's your decision, Father. But please consider how much we stand to lose.
There are no jewels I would not renounce to keep you safe.
Mother, Nathan, and Gloria cast grateful looks at you. Even Stefan accepts Father's decision after some grumbling. You spend the rest of the night around the table, resting, conversing pleasantly, and amusing yourselves. For the first time in a long while, there is nothing casting a shadow over your home. Sorry, that was a weird way to pronounce home. Sometimes I can be a bit tongue-tied. Maybe that's why I needed to work on eloquence a bit more. I guess I need to do that in real life, too. Oh well. The Archduke does not deign to reply to Father's letter. No one expected otherwise. Does the Archduke count you among his enemies now, or has he forgotten about your existence? But why waste time guessing when you have a moment of peace to enjoy? Sorry. There's only one disadvantage. You do not have a single coin tucked away in the family treasury. We have some coin. Oh, but hey! Harmony in the family! Hello! Yay! Willpower plus 5 to 15. Valor plus 1. Okay, so we're still weak in battle, but hey, we have more valor, so that works. We've got a lot of willpower saved up. Oh, a moment of respite. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Conditions met. Unity 10. The most unified family in all of Magra. I dare even say, the Empire. A moment of respite. Your work for the day is finally done. You hurry to the family home where peace and tranquility dwell again at last. Still, you have grown used to the idea that this peace could be disturbed at any moment. As you enter, Father walks down the stairs to greet you. He smiles, happily and warmly.
Volker, my dear son, you're spending so much time at work. Look, you can barely stand. You need some rest. Please, stay at home with us for a while.
Father, I couldn't.
Surely your work can wait. You've earned yourself a moment of respite.
Well, I mean... You consider his words for a moment and agree. Overjoyed, Father takes your hand and leads you into the sitting room. You spend several days resting in the family home where your troubles are distant and your family is close. They tell you their news, you carefully share yours. Right, don't want to mention anything about spy networks or secret societies you're building or anything like that. That would be ridiculous. You spend the evenings together on the porch just like in the good old days, listening to Father's stories of your family's history, sharing laughter over memories of childhood. It is late now. Oh? Cicadas buzz quietly in the garden. The windows of the bedrooms glow with a warm light. You recline in a wicker chair with a glass of good wine. There is no place like home. Stefan Brante even likes me now a little. Again, affectionate with my father. Mother, Mac's relationships, sympathy with Nathan. Mac's relations with Gloria, and just... Oh, and I have 10 willpower. I am prepared for anything, bitch. I'm ready. So throw whatever the fuck you want at me. I can do that. Concerned citizen, you and Sophia have accomplished a lot over the past year. The last straw now consists of half a dozen cells that know nothing about one another. You have several informers gathering rumors and news. Many citizens support your cause and are ready to help. The ranks of the underground society include honest rebels eager to bring the Empire down, as well as thieves and thugs willing to break any laws as long as they get paid. As more and more people join your insurgency, rumors begin to spread throughout the city. It will soon become impossible to conceal your existence. The last straw desperately needs a public figurehead, someone to act as the patron of your secret society, someone who can justify your existence to the authorities. You choose Mayor Egmont. He has earned a fortune and made a name for himself thanks to the silver mines, and now he is the leader of the Malgrand Lesser Quorum. Rumor has it he is eager to get in touch with someone from the underground. If there was ever a time to meet, it is now. Fortunately, you know people who know people, and soon enough you arrange a meeting. An empty warehouse. Late at night, all the workers have gone home. A dim lamp is the only source of light in the spacious facility. The two of you are alone here, free from prying eyes. Up close, Egmont turns out to be broad-shouldered, middle-aged man in a pricey frock coat. He wears no jewelry, but his beard and mustache are well kept. Only the gray hair at his temples betray his age. He offers you a warm, rough hand. It is the callous hand of a man who has had to work all his life. You shake it readily. The industrialist offers you a seat at a nearby table.
Truth be told, young man, I know your family quite well. I had the honor to be introduced to your grandfather back in the day. Unfortunately, Sir Brante wasn't exactly delighted to meet me.
Oh. Brante is my grandfather, I believe. Yeah. And not a surprise, if I'm being perfectly honest.
But your father is a staunch supporter of Elborn. We've often seen eye to eye, he and I. Let's see if you and I can find some common ground, too. I'll be frank with you, I know quite a bit about what you're up to here in Anizote. You've built yourself a functioning underground society, and you've done it very well, and very quickly, all without getting caught. I'd say you got an eye for business.
Well, of course I do. It's simply just how I operate.
But tell me, why are you doing all this? What's your goal? What are you trying to achieve? Please be sincere with me. I'm the last man who wants to see you reported to the Secret Chancellery.
You are prepared for this question. Egmont listens carefully as you give him a short speech on the coming rebellion against the Empire. First, in Anizote, then in Magra. When you are done, the industrialist lets out a sigh.
Ambitious, determined, but utterly senseless. Let's say you do manage to foment an uprising against the Archduke, against the Overseer, even the Emperor himself. Well, what then? What are your demands? Who do you want to listen to them? If you ever negotiate or make a deal, then with who will you do it? What about your terms? And what will your relationship with the Empire be like if your revolt succeeds? So far, Volker, I've heard no answers to those questions. To be honest, I'm quite confident you don't have any answers. But fortunately for you, I do. There's also one self-evident fact I'd like to bring to your attention. Whenever someone discusses authority or power within the Empire, there's one thing that never seems to raise any doubt. Prefects and commanders, magistrates and overseers, they're always nobles. Any position of power, only for the nobles. Landowners, always nobles. Who rules over Anizote? Overseer Tempest or Archduke Milanides? No one can say for sure these days. Either way, no matter who they are, nobles rule the city. But a city isn't a castle or a fortress. A city's more than the sum total of its walls and buildings. A city is its people and the commoners who work and trade and live there. There always have been and always will be more of us than the nobles. We are this city, Brante. You've never been to a meeting of the Lesser Quorum, have you? I won't bore you with the details. Let me put it this way. It's the only place where the common estate has the same rights as the nobles. Sure enough, there's arguing, there's contention, there's a fight every time we meet, but as we argue, as we contradict each other, we find a new way. One that takes everybody's interests into account. But unfortunately right now, the Lesser Quorum only has the authority to discuss issues related to taxation in the province. But if you and I can come to an agreement, this will change. I've spent most of my life making the idea of the Quorum a reality, and I swear to you on my life that it works. This is the only way to bring something new to the Empire, by giving the commoners and the nobles the same power. Egmont is shouting now, his eyes shining with excitement. He's utterly engrossed in his idea. I feel he actually believes what he says. And here in Magra, we have the chance.
We have no way to do it in the past, back when Archduke Melanidas was in charge, but now Gaius Tempus represents the Empire's authority in Magra. Tempus still can't find a way to share power with Melanidas. He needs all the support he can get. You and I, we can give him that support. And Vulcan, are you aware of how Gaius Tempus ended up becoming overseer of Magra? He was too progressive for the capital and his fellow Archnians. He went too far in his attempts to make nobles and commoners equal under imperial law, and he was exiled to Magra for his troubles. And yet, Gaius Tempus has never abandoned the idea of making the estates equal. He was the one who supported the creation of the Lesser Quorum. He is well disposed toward the lowly estates and tends to listen to reason. We can make him our ally, and your uprising could be the deciding factor. If we could manage to seize control of the city and hang on to it, if we can prove we're able to run Anizote, if the citizens show us their support, then we'll have a lot to offer the Overseer. In return for making Anizote a free city, a city-state if you will, governed by the Lesser Quorum, we'll recognize Gaius Tempus' authority in Magra and support him in his power struggle against the Archduke. If nobles and commoners come to govern a city together, in just a few short years, it will become obvious to the entire empire how advantageous this arrangement is, and then the old traditions will have no choice but to step aside. I understand that things like this take time, but as you prepare for the revolt, I'll support your underground movement with all the power and funding at my disposal, as long as you say you'll walk toward this future with me. Mayor Eggman lets out an exhausted sigh. Delivering such a fervent speech is no easy task for a man his age. After a moment of quiet, you agree. Yes, you say this is a future worth fighting for. The last straw will support Eggman's plan. He promised to spread his vision of the free city of Anizote, first among the rebels, then throughout the city, starting immediately. You shake hands. Once the conversation is over, you leave the warehouse and walk back through the dark streets of Anizote. Made a promise, but what are you actually going to do? There is a kernel of truth in Mayor Eggman's words. The aged industrialist plan could actually work. This is no longer just a pointless revolt doomed to fail. Dangerous thoughts begin running through your mind. Would it be best to abandon the idea of the free city of Anizote and report this meeting to Sir Philippe? I will keep the conversation a secret. In your report to Felipe, you claim that Mayor Eggman was more careful than you expected, and your attempts to come to an agreement with him were unsuccessful. You claim that the industrialist is putting money into the struggle for commoners' rights, but cleverly disguises it as charity. In the end of the report, you assure Felipe that you will find a way for the secret chancellery to connect Eggman's actions to underground activities and the brewing revolt. However, you cannot do it right now. Secret plot. You expect Felipe to reply with a furious letter, but as the days go by, you do not receive a single word from the secret chancellery advisor. This silence feels more menacing than any threat. +1 wealth, moderate means, okay. You joined Eggman in a secret plot to start a rebellion in the city. Whoops, I just realized the desk cord was still up, so, one moment while I quickly get rid of that. There we go. An old friend. Night is falling over Anizote. The stifling heat gives way to an eagerly anticipated freshness. After a day of work, you stroll home at a leisurely pace. You turn down a side street that you have known since you were a little boy. It is as if your legs are aching and, of their own accord, bringing you to the place of your childhood play. The remnants of the wooden fort. So much has changed since the days when you used to play here with your little friends. Engrossed in your memories, at first you failed to have noticed that you are not alone here. A tall figure in the uniform of a Legion officer approaches you. You see unruly brown hair and a twinkle in his eye. It's Thomas.
Oh, that's a surprise. Hi, Brante. Fancy running into you the moment I'm back in town.
childhood friend puts his arm around you.
Our battalion got transferred here recently. We're under the command of the Magra Legion now. I'm keeping the peace and maintaining order in my very own province. Oh, why don't we catch up? Let me buy you dinner. We'll have a little chat. Remember the old days.
Sounds great. Thomas cuts himself short. You suddenly notice how much older he looks. His face has become sharper and rougher, and his eyes are filled with exhaustion rather than their usual mischievous sparkle.
I should warn you though, Volker. I have the best company nowadays. I managed to get myself some powerful enemies already. I'm a friend who could taint your good name, so if you'd rather not be seen with me, well, I understand.
The smile on his face starts to fade. I'm glad that option isn't available, but I'm curious. Thomas Sparrow bound by friendship. Odd. Have dinner with him. You aren't about to miss a chance to spend some time with your old friend, no matter what kind of danger he's in. You give Thomas your hand. You shake hands firmly.
So you haven't forgotten your old friend, Brante? That's the way it ought to be. Well, come on then.
You go to a tavern reminiscing about your childhood antics on these very streets along the way. You choose a table in the far corner of the tavern. Thomas orders a bottle of good wine and some food. You talk about your latest case, about your first years back in Anizote. You share family news, your quest to become nobles of the sword, the quarrels between your elder brother and sister, your mother's health. Thomas nods with concern.
Sounds like you've had some tough times. Your family has always been different. Mine, on the other hand, is the same as it ever was. My pa's always in his workshop and my ma's always doing chores, but look at me. I come home with a service-class nobleman, although it does bring me much joy.
Thomas is suddenly grim. You ask your old friend to share his troubles with you. He quickly glances around the room and he lowers his voice.
Well, I'm a captain in the Magra Legion now. And who's our commander? His Excellency Dorius That's right. I serve under the very same Archean whose toes I stepped on back in Eterna. And you better believe he remembers me. I'm afraid things are gonna end real bad. But hey, I'll figure it out somehow. Don't trouble yourself over it. Apart from that, well, it's the usual service. We impose order in uppity towns and villages, protect the province, that sort of thing. And we run drills all day long. Obviously. If only you knew how sick I am of them barracks, Volker. Thought about starting a family. My mom keeps telling me to find a nice girl to marry. She says it's high time I got hitched.
It is completely dark. You are still talking. Finally, Thomas remembers that his parents are waiting for him. You get up from the table, leaving some dirty dishes and quite a few empty bottles behind. On your way out, you catch a glimpse of a nondescript figure following you to the door. As you walk alongside Thomas, through your home neighborhood, you keep glancing over your shoulder, but the shadow that was following you has disappeared. You reach your street and stop for a while, in the semi-darkness between your family homes, just as you used to all those years ago.
Bye, Brante. I hardly ever come to Anizote these days. Our battalion is always on the march all over the province, but twins willing, we'll see each other again real soon.
I hope so too. Just hopefully in good circumstances. You advise your friend to safeguard his every life. Shit. You are sitting on a solitary bench in a gazebo in the Archduke's garden. Tall lanterns spread their dim glow in the cool evening air. When Gaius Tempest became the overseer of Magra, one of his first edicts granted the commoners entry to the Archduke's garden. At the time, many Magrans saw this gesture as a sign of future change. But unfortunately, the right to visit the Archduke's garden is the only new right the commoners now enjoy by the grace of Overseer Tempest. It does little to ease the burden of double taxation or the need to work the mines without gunpowder. A serpentine stone-paved road leads to the gazebo. Many flower beds are nestled in the bends and coils of the elaborate path. In the distance, on the other end of the path, you finally see Sophia's silhouette. She takes a look around, then steps over the low fence and walks to you through the flowers. had trouble finding you, Brante. Let's meet in one of the usual places next time. It isn't safe here.
You agree, although you are sick and tired of the stuffy basement rooms and trash-filled ruins where you typically arrange to meet the leaders of the Last Straw cells.
Okay, let's get to it. The Last Straw needs gunpowder. Could really use some. If we had gunpowder, we could blow up the Emperor's statue in the Golden Square, of a wall of the city armory. There's all kinds of stuff we could do. The thing is, you can't find it anywhere. Even owning it is forbidden, thanks to the Overseer. Margaret Industry has had to swallow a bitter pill and trade their fancy new gunpowder for good old shovels. Except, not everybody got rid of it. Lucky for us, right? A new friend of yours, Mayor Egmont. He's a resourceful fellow. He started buying gunpowder by the barrel some 20 years ago to work the mines. They still use it in his mine, but late at night, so nobody finds out. There's a warehouse where they keep mounds of that stuff, Brante. We need to get our hands on it. If we could get Mayor to hand it over on his own, all the better. But if he digs his heels in, we'll just pay the warehouse a visit and grab it. Done deal. What do you say?
Crap. So I can't use any of these options, and the only thing I have is I can reject the idea of gunpowder outright. You are staying out of this. Your movement will do just fine without gunpowder. Hope this isn't forever. You shake your head at the idea. Meddling with gunpowder sounds far too dangerous. The Last Straw's greatest asset is secrecy. Gunpowder means explosions, and explosions cannot be kept secret. To prove your point, you remind Sophia that your goal is to keep innocent casualties to a minimum. Gunpowder never discriminates. An explosion would slay the innocent and the guilty alike. Over the past few months, the Last Straw has been growing steadily in strength. You have enough men for any operation. Why risk it all for such a dubious opportunity? Sophia breathes in deeply, ready to make her case, but says nothing. A few moments later, she quietly exhales and sits next to you.
It's pretty here. Although I don't like the gardens and parks all that much, they're beautiful, but useless, you know? Just a place for aimless walking and idle chit-chats. Fits the noble way of life, I guess. Suppose you're right, Brante. That powder can go to the foot of the pillar for all I care. We'll do just fine without it.
I'm getting too much willpower that I can't even use it.
Stay here with me for a while, okay? Don't want to be here all by myself.
Before I didn't have enough willpower, now I have too much of it.
Today is a big day for the Brante family. The day your family line started, and the day when you remember all of your ancestors. Tonight, everyone who bears the name Brante must descend into the family crypt to keep vigil by the tombs. This is the time to surrender yourself to your ancestors and hear their will. The entire family prepares for the event in silence. Stefan has been choosing his apparel since morning, praying anxiously under his breath all the while. The heir has a special place in the family vigil. Even Mother is planning to go with you, though Father tries to talk her out of it.
Lydia, I beg you, stay home. You are far too weak for an all-night vigil in the crypt. Gloria, would you be so kind as to stay with your mother since you cannot join us anyway?
Gloria answers in a muffled voice. As you wish, Sir Robert. The late Sir Gregor would only be enraged to see Mother there. You'll remember how their last encounter ended.
Father nods curtly, avoiding Gloria's gaze. But at that moment, your attention is drawn to a noise in the foyer. Nathan staggers through the door, stumbling over his own feet. He reeks of cheap wine and filth. Oh, no. I'm not, late, am I? Everyone gazes at him in consternation. Nathan almost falls into Mother's and Gloria's arms. Distressed, they fuss over him. Stefan eyes his younger brother coldly. I expected nothing more of you, Nathan. Why even speak of duty to your family when you can't even manage to live by the commoner's lot? Go lie down in the pantry and stay out of our sight. Father, Volker, it's time. Let's go. Alongside Father and Stefan, you descend into the family crypt. You cannot help but remember paying your last respects to your grandfather 9 years ago. You light the lamps, dim, eerie flames, illuminate the shrine, and
the middle of it stands a magnificent stone tomb, containing the long-decayed remains of Gregor Brante. You take your places around the crypt and kneel. The all-night vigil has begun. At first, your ancestors remain silent. Each of you is left with their own thoughts. Then, a low murmur passes around you. The shadows in the corners of the room deepen. The voices grow stronger. You know that the ancestors of Gregor Brante, long-forgotten commoners whom you never knew, are trying to talk to you. But now a memory of them has come to life in the darkness of the crypt. They are pleading for something, demanding it of you, calling out to you, screaming. Finally, you all hear that painfully familiar, deep, imperious voice echo from the far end of the chamber. It's been a long time since I've seen you all. I hope you bear good tidings. All this time I've been waiting for you to fulfill my mission. Remember, as long as I am in your blood, I will give you no peace. I did not have my family ennobled just to see our line cut short. Our blood tide must join the grand flow of the Empire, and then each of my descendants will inherit nobility forever and ever. But I do not see any of you before my tomb. Where are you hiding? Where is the head of our family, the man who will speak to me? Where is the man who will heed my will? Father rises from his knees and makes his way towards Grandfather's stone tomb, the source of that booming voice. But Stefan suddenly pushes him out of the way. What? Father takes an indignant step forward, but Stefan firmly bars the way. Stop it, Stefan. You are my heir, but you are not the head of this family. Father, it is not you that Sir Gregor is addressing. Earning the nobility of the sword is my duty to him. He has long forsaken any hope of seeing you achieve it. You must understand that I am the one who will fulfill that duty. What has gotten into him? Stefan does not let him pass. Father breathes heavily in anger. You can all but feel the frantic beating of both their hearts resonating somewhere within you. Both your father and brother seem to have forgotten that you are here too. Even the restless voices of your ancestors have grown hushed, waiting for the outcome of this confrontation. Well, I can't step forward myself because I'm not a noble, and I have not done the blood tide. I'm gonna side with Father. Fuck you, Stefan. You block Stefan's way. Your ponderous voice fills the dark crypt. You demand that your brother step back. The head of your family is your father, Robert Brante, and so it will be as long as he lives. Could your brother have forgotten that it is part of the noble law to acknowledge and honor seniority? Your father is the man who must hear and accept your ancestors' will. Stefan tries to maintain his composure, but even in the dark you can see his face twitch. Brother, you don't understand. I'm not defying Father's seniority, but I am the man who bears this duty to our grandfather. I cannot remain a mere witness while the future of our blood tide runs through our fingers. You resolutely push your brother to one side. Whether he wants to or not, he will give way to the head of the family. Father catches his breath and approaches grandfather's tomb. So, have you come to disappoint me yet again? Stefan is right. I have not put my hopes in you for quite some time. If anyone will lead the Brante family to glory, it will be my grandson. Stefan clenches his fists and whispers something to himself. I am doing my utmost, Father. We are closer to becoming nobles of the sword than ever before. The Overseer looks upon us with favor. Just a couple more years and your dream will come true. This must be your dream too, Robert. But you still cater to your foundlings, Lydia and Gloria, risking a permanent blemish upon the Brante name. My name. Dead though I may be, my will lives on. Heed it at least. Get rid of that troll of a Gloria and devote yourself to your true family. Otherwise you will lead our family to shame and ruin. Father hesitates for a moment. No, Father. That is impossible. Even I must defy your will. I am responsible for Gloria. My honor and my conscience will not allow me to do what you demand. You must accept this or keep on fighting me for all eternity. The voice of your deceased ancestor fades away. He seems to have left this realm. But then his voice suddenly booms from the other side of the crypt. Stefan! You are the heir of the family. Your duty by blood is to earn us a place in eternity. Do not take after your spineless father. Do what must be done. Cleanse our family of wickedness. Stefan is shivering. He replies in an unsteady voice. But Gloria, I can't... Stefan checks himself. I will do my duty to my family, Sir Gregor. Whatever the price, I will pay it. The crypt is completely silent once more. You are alone again. You see tears glistening on Stefan's face without uttering a word. He goes outside. Father clasps his arms firmly around you. You feel him let out a sigh of sorrow and relief. The vigil is over. The errors of youth. It's been a month since Sophia left the city on Felipe's urgent orders. You have no idea where she went. Until she returns, the last straw has been laying low. You've had to tend to the print shop all by yourself. Early morning, Father Fouad welcomes you to the print shop. He looks like he was asleep just a moment ago. He gets up from his makeshift bed of crates and beckons you closer with a finger. Brante, I've got something to tell you, young man. So I made my rounds last night, so to speak. I stopped by a few flop houses, hit a few taverns, and other dens of iniquity. And I met a young man we could use. Not sure if we can trust him, though. His name's Gustav. He told me he comes from Eterna. Says he's on the run from the secret chancery. He insists he was with the underground there in the capital. The Lawless, they're called. They were responsible for that march of the colonists 4 years back. So Gustav tells me all the Lawless were nabbed by secret chancery spooks after their march. He thinks the Anizote underground could be in danger too. The trouble is, that's all he's told me. He's not exactly a trusting fellow. I think one of us ought to talk to him, find out who he is and what he knows. He looks shady if you ask me, but maybe we could use him here. What do you say, young man? You thank Fouad for the information. You will think about how to meet with Gustav yourself. Just give me the word, young man, and I'll set it up. Fouad bows, stretches, and walks off to the printing presses. You sigh, trying to steady the furious beating of your heart. Gustav was one of your trusted agents back in Eterna. If he gets too friendly with the last drawn Anizote, your name will come up eventually. You do not think that Gustav ever found out that the Lawless were established on Felipe's order, but still, he knows that you were deeply involved in the march. That alone might be enough for him to dismantle your cover story here in Anizote. You need to deal with the problem as quickly as possible. Well, I can't do anything, because it all relies on... I have no choice but to order everyone to lie low. This is annoying. I have a bunch of willpower, and I have so little opportunity to use it now. Dealing with Gustav on your own could put you and your cover story in danger. You send Felipe an urgent report. You warn him about the last surviving member of the Lawless and ask him to solve his problem for you. Then you send a warning to each of the last straw cells. Lay low, stay out of contact, and wait for a signal. For several weeks you live the quiet, peaceful life of a print shop owner. Days pass. You hear nothing about Gustav or the Lawless. Your worries eventually disappear. There are no new rumors or news about recent injustices throughout the Empire. No never-ending speeches to inspire the people to fight. No meetings in the basement. It feels strange at first, but you soon grew accustomed to this serene existence. Time marches on. Those peaceful days cannot last forever, and one fine morning you receive a letter from Felipe. Your problem has been solved. Get back to work. We've lost too much time already. No more delays. Well, I only lost something for that option. Egmont's speech. Just a few days into the year, Mayor Egmont, chairman of the Lesser Quorum and owner of several silver mines, made a speech that caused quite a stir in the province. Though a commoner, Egmont had the gall to demand that the Magran authorities both enforce and obey imperial law. What's the use of the imperial laws if they aren't enforced as they should be? Even today, Anizote, who gets up on the wrong side of the bed, can draw his sword and run a commoner through with impunity. These gentlemen may be our rulers, but does that mean they can defy the Emperor's will? Sir Elborn has been appointed to enforce the rule of the law in Magra. How come the prefect doesn't see this? We commoners are trying to seize the noble law to take over the province, but the rule of tradition is a thing of the past. Oh, oops. This is the age of justice. We may not all be equal in its eyes, but when the nobles and clergy must obey the law... The Magran aristocracy is furious with Egmont and demands that he be silenced, but the rich industrialist has too much money and too many connections to be dealt with so easily. You hear more and more rumors about secret societies of commoners appearing in the city, plotting against noble rule. The gentry fears that Egmont and his peers might be behind this, but they have no proof, at least for now. Father Lenart, abbot of the Temple of the Silver Tree, and leader of the New Believers, supports Egmont and has spoken publicly in his favor. The twins themselves entrusted the noble estate with the right to rule over the common folk, but rulers must also care for their subjects. The old faith is mistaken. No commoner should ever be forced to suffer. It is for this very reason that the imperial law exists. It is there to ease the people's suffering. May those laws be duly enforced, and may they serve all the people of the Empire. Power +1, struggle for power, order -1, discontent, wealth, Magra -1, security. Chat with the magistrate. Your heart is pounding madly in your chest. You gasp desperately for air, paralyzed by fear. Two burly young men have just pulled a sack over your head and shoved you into the carriage. Who could have done this? Were they Felipe's men? Members of the Last Straw? Someone else with a grudge against you? Where are they taking you? Can you even hope to survive this day? The carriage comes to a stop. They drag you out, get you on your feet, and force you to walk. You march down long hallways in complete silence. Then, at last, they sit you in a chair. Get that thing off his head. I can't talk to him like that, can I? No? A hand wrenches the sack off your head. Light stabs you in the eyes as you gasp for air. Once your eyes adjust, you see a dining table covered in years of dust. This is a noble mansion, abandoned long ago. The paint is peeling and the glazed gilt trim is cracked and faded. And once magnificent furniture is covered in rust and cobwebs. In the midst of this weathered splendor, you see a man who is well known to all, the magistrate of Anizote, Sir Remy L. Vermin. I suppose you've caught your breath by now, eh, Brante? Let's have a little chat, shall we? First, the obvious. I know what you are, and I know who you work for. I know your family, I have the power to ruin you and your father and everyone else you care about. If anyone ever hears about this conversation, I will crush you before you can blink. But I didn't arrange this meeting just to threaten you. I'm prepared to offer you something. Salvation. A glib smile spreads across El Vermin's face. Now let's move on to the meat of our little tete-a-tete. You're in a real pickle, Brante. You will never escape Felipe's iron grip. He will continue to use you as long as you remain useful, and the moment that usefulness ends, he will deem you an obstacle and eliminate you. However, I would like to extend to you an offer of protection, if you help me. I will keep you safe from Felipe and the secret chancery. I am aware of Felipe's scheme to obtain special authority from the overseer. The old dog is hungry for power, but I have enough on my plate as it is. What with Elborn's prefecture and Egmont's lesser quorum. The secret chancery is supposed to safeguard imperial rule, but instead Felipe is playing a game of his own in my own city. Anizote does not need another man who treats it like a plaything for acting out his utopian fantasies. This is a disaster waiting to happen. If the secret chancery ever gets discretionary powers, no one will ever be able to stand in its way. Especially commoners like you. So here's the deal, Brante. You help me rid Anizote of the Lesser Quorum and all the other rebels and rabble-rousers, and I'll save you for Felipe. I already know that Mayor Egmont and his cronies are connected to your secret network, and knowing the secret chancery, I'm quite certain you've made a note of Egmont's every last misdeed. Once you have enough evidence to put good old Mayor behind bars, or in a noose, bring me everything you've got on him and the other upstarts. Felipe will be left empty-handed. With
Egmont out of the picture, I'll be free to disband the Lesser Quorum and rule the city in peace. And then I'll finally drive Felipe out of Anizote. Which means that you will go free. I will rule as I should, and the city of Anizote will return to normal. No blood will be shed. There'll be no more plotting. No more need to pretend. What do you say to that, Brante?
Really? I am just giving Solo a choice. A chance to break free from Felipe's clutches, to save the city from the secret chancellor's ruthless rule, to return power to a man who has what it takes to restore order to Anizote. The way things stand, it seems to be the least bad option. You will have to go against Felipe. It is the only way. And if he finds out about your betrayal before the time is right, no one will be able to save you from it. You stand up and promise to fulfill the magistrate's request. Your underground network will give Sir El Vermin all the dirt he needs to bring down Egmont and Anizote's other rabble-rousers. The magistrate nods, pleased with your answer. A wise choice, Brante. My men will see you out. And don't forget the first part of our little chat. We never met. This never happened. Magistrate of Anizote manages the city's affairs, head of the noble court of honor, an inveterate follower of the noble traditions of old, who opposes any and all change in the empire. You secretly sided with the magistrate and promised him help in the struggle against his enemies. One moment, I gotta refill my water. Brothers in misery. Your home has been much more peaceful for the last year. The fights between Stefan and Gloria are not as fierce as now, but how long will this last? Your job takes up all your time. You see your parents and siblings less and less often. Sometimes you don't even know what they are doing while you deal with the constant stream of duties. This morning you head out on urgent business. You take one step out of the gate and run into a uniformed gendarme. Volker Brante. Your presence is requested at the prefecture dungeon. Taken aback, you ask what this is about. We have your brothers Stefan and Nathan Brante in a cell. They were arrested last night at the Steiner's Inn. They asked us to send for you. Stefan. Weren't you the one that promised to, ensure the family gets ennobled by the sword, and yet you're in prison? What is this, Stefan? And why me? Exactly. Why not father? The cells in the prefecture dungeon are cold and damp. The guards lead you to the bars, and behind them you see Nathan huddled in a corner. Your younger brother is unshaven, more disheveled than usual, and reeking of wine and filth. Near the cell, you see Stefan grimly sitting in a chair. You guess that the gendarmes thought it best not to put him in the same cell as his lowborn brother. Upon seeing you, Nathan lets out a whimper, and Stefan cracks a bitter smile. The sheath on your brother's belt is empty. There you are at last, Volker. Have a look at our younger brother. Yesterday he got drunk in the company of some dubious fellows. They are commoners, yet they dared to surrender to pleasure. They started a brawl, wrecked the inn, and harassed the waitress. As soon as I heard, I rushed to save this drunkard from shame. Nathan cowers in the corner, horror-struck. I walked in and demanded that Nathan come with me, but his cronies wouldn't let him go. That's not true. You just grabbed me by the collar and dragged me after you. You nearly suffocated me. Shut your mouth, cur. So, brother, they seem to have some sort of sect. They all shouted defamation against the twin gods, and one of them grabbed me by the arm. I was forced to skewer this heretic with my sword. I hope a lesser death will teach him never to lay his filthy paws on a nobleman. He was just trying to talk to you, Stephen. Silence. Then the gendarmes barged in, and here we are. I've been accused of an unlawful murder. Apparently, the new laws allow killing a commoner only if he attacks first or wields a weapon. They say that in an event of an insult, I'm supposed to file a complaint with the prefecture. So now they're going to seize my sword for a whole year.
What a shame. It's all your fault, Nathan.
Stefan gives the bars a furious kick. Nathan covers his face with his hands in despair.
Volker, brother, you are our only hope. Give me my sword back and get us out of here, and fast. We have to bury this sordid affair as deep as we can before anyone finds out. Save our family from shame.
This is gonna cost our wealth, isn't it? Alright, I'll ask Father for help, since it's the only thing I can do. You tell Stefan that the only way to get them out of this mess is with Father's help. No, Volker, Father must not know about this. If he gets involved, we won't be able to avoid dishonoring the family. You coldly reply that after this incident, disgrace is inevitable. All that remains to try and minimize the damage. Leaving your brothers, you go upstairs of your father's office.
What happened, Volker?
You give Father an account of the incident. He becomes more and more grim with every word you utter.
Is this why I earned the judge's mantle? To get my own sons out of prison? I would have expected something like this from Nathan, but Stefan? I will not demean myself so they can avoid that punishment.
You argue that, in this case, the damage to your family's reputation will be far greater. Stephen will be publicly deprived of his sword, and Nathan will be sentenced to hard labor on the streets.
I hate to admit it, but you're right, son. I'll have to swallow my pride and plead their case to the prefect. Stefan is his nephew, after all.
Father gets an audience with his superior Elborn. He returns downhearted, but holding the prefect's order. Together you walk down to the dungeon and present the order to the gendarmes. Stefan Brante's sword is to be returned at once. He has not broken the law and must be freed. As for Nathan Brante, you will personally cover the damages the inn has sustained. This is no reason to keep a son of the noble family behind bars. Seeing the prefect's seal, the gendarmes nod obediently and return Stefan's sword.
Father, I knew you'd come to the rescue. I haven't really done anything shameful. We will discuss this at home.
Yeah, Stefan. Perhaps maybe things wouldn't have gone so out of hand if you just didn't stab someone, or act all haughty. You truly have shamed the family. Stefan sheathes his sword reverently as Nathan is led out of the cell. The elder brother takes the younger by the scruff of his neck and pulls him to the door. Nathan staggers and shuffles along limply. The prefecture is highly displeased with the indiscreet nepotism your father took advantage of. Unsavory rumors about the Brante family creep through his own. Back home, Father lectures Stefan. Your older brother objects and blames Nathan for everything. From now on, there will be no more drinking bouts or other nocturnal exploits. Nathan, who are those rogues you befriended anyway? Stop shaming this family. If you're so worthless, at least let others go about their business in peace. Do you understand, you blockhead? Nathan remains silent, staring despondently somewhere above him. Oh. Oops. Well, I have better manipulation. I'm canny, so that's something. I'll take it. Besides, why did I lose relation with Father? It wasn't my fault they ended up in prison. Your print shop has been graced by an unusual guest today. A short man of considerable age, dressed in the brown cassock of a priest. A smile appears on his round face. Good morning, young man. You must be the owner of this splendid print shop. You must be the, I've heard so much about you in this wonderful place of yours. Oh, well, why, thank you, of course. It is a wonderful business run by a wonderful, beautiful being such as myself. You ask the visitor his name. What brings him to your print shop? Ah, yes, my apologies. I am Mark. Father Mark, if you will. There is a certain matter I hope you can help me with. I have learned much during my many years in this world, but alas, our time here is short, and like everyone else, I will eventually have to face the ruthless scrutiny of the twins themselves. However, I would like the truths that have been revealed to me to live on after I shuffle off this mortal coil, which is why I've come to you. I've written a book, you see, and now I want you to help me print it. I want the largest print run you can possibly manage. The old priest is clearly not giving you the full picture. Why has he come here of all places? You see, young man, my teachings are a bit bold for a realm that has endured 1,000 years of the twins' tyranny. Even the new faith sees the truths I preach as excessively blasphemous. But your print shop is known for its, shall we say, open-minded approach. I believe you have the fortitude to appreciate my teachings and the courage to accept my order. Would Father Mark be so kind as to explain his teachings to you? Another smile, kind-hearted and sly, appears readily on the monk's face. But of course, my son. By the will of the twins, it is my lot to preach. How could I refuse to instruct those in need? Here is the fundamental principle of my doctrine. Our gods are shit. We don't need them. They say a tree is known by its fruit. Well, if the twins are a tree, then their fruits are will, love, and law. But their will is arbitrary, their love is cruel, and their law is ruthless. The twins don't know the meaning of the word mercy. All they bring to their world is suffering. Everyone in this world is miserable regardless of their estate or status. And we will continue to be miserable as long as we continue to accept the burden of their divine chains. There's only one path to salvation in this world. Reject the twins outright. You, and only you, must accept responsibility for your own life. Forge your own secular law. Fill your own heart with secular love. Exercise your own secular will and forget all about the twins. What about the hereafter, you say? What about the final judgment? Eternal torment at the foot of the pillar? A never-ending bliss at the peak? Everyone asks me this, and here's what I tell them. What happens to you in the hereafter doesn't matter, because there won't be any you in the hereafter anyway. We will all be dissolved in the twins' own endless will. Out there, on the other side of true death, Father Mark will cease to exist, and so will you, young man. You will have no will. You will make no decisions. You will be incapable of action. In other words, your life will be over. Your existence ends with your true death. Whatever happens to you after that won't really be happening to you. So who cares? So let's all tell the twins to take their bullshit law, their bullshit will, and their bullshit love, and shove them straight up their divine asses. Let's cast away the yoke of the gods and live our worldly lives free of their despotic, ruthless rule. Print the book in secret. Don't have enough scheming. Report the encounter to Philippe. Print and disseminate the book yourself. Tell your father about the encounter. If the prefecture can apprehend such a dangerous apostate, father's standing will surely improve. They should make up for it, so yeah. Sorry, Father Mark, but, kinda have to, turn you in for the honor of my family. Just, you know, to show Stefan how to do it. Although this is kind of petty, but at the same time, yeah. I don't know how many people are gonna be in favor of that, and, I think that would kind of ruin the family's reputation, so I don't really want to do that. It's only so far I'm going to go. I mean, freedom of speech, but, yeah, I don't think I could really be that open-minded in this kind of environment. To reject the twins is to deny their law, their will, and their love. To reject the twins is to deny their empire is blessed and absolute. To reject the twins is to deny that the Tempests are chosen by the gods themselves to rule. If these teachings begin to spread, there will be unrest the likes of which the province has not seen since the emergence of the new faith. His book is fomenting rebellion against the Tempests, the Empire, and the twins. You accept Brother Mark's manuscript and promise to print the run as soon as possible. As soon as the priest leaves the print shop, you head to the prefecture to see Father. You describe the strange visit and hand Mark's manuscript over to him. He ought to handle this case himself, you say. The heretic must be arrested before it is too late. This is extremely troubling, son. Matters such as these are really the Inquisition's domain. We judges have some work to do here, too. This priest is inciting rebellion against the Empire. He must face judgment under imperial law. I'm glad you came to me with this. You did the right thing.
This will be an excellent opportunity for Alborn and me to set our opponents at ease. No one at the prefecture will be able to say we don't protect Imperial tradition now.
Father Mark is soon arrested and sent to the prefecture prison to await trial. I'm basically just like, yeah, okay, I'll go ahead and print this book.
Okay, he's gone. Gotta go ahead and hand this book to Dad.
When the heretical priest is arrested, the city grows restless. But there is no rioting, no protests. Many people leave the province in a hurry, including nobles, commoners, and even a few priests. Some of your own men flee Magra without saying a word. You have to rack your brains to find replacements. Oh. Right. Oh, I didn't think about that. You have seen for yourself just how many apostates reside in Anizote. More unity in the family and reputation, though. The sound of thunder. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Uh-oh. Late one night, you send all the print shop employees home. Felipe Alfaro wishes to see you in person tonight. You sit behind your desk, anxiously attentive to every sound. You hear quite stomping outside. Several men enter the room, led by Moss.
Hello there, Volker.
Shit, I assume this is not a pleasant meeting. They are all, without a doubt, armed. They stop at the door. You hear a cane tapping on the floor as Felipe walks in. He sits at your desk and squints at you without saying a word.
So, Brante,
how's our spine doing? You open your mouth, but the advisor cuts you short. His voice is utterly hostile.
Why aren't you getting any results? Do you think you can fool me? Or are you just too stupid to be entrusted with such a crucial mission? How can I explain your ineptitude, Brante? Betrayal or idiocy? Don't you understand that your job is the only thing you should be doing? Don't you see how important it is? I'm standing on the brink of chaos, and it's about to consume us all. The safety of the Empire depends on the intelligence you're supposed to be gathering. I trust you, and what do I get in return? Idleness and wasted time. Either you're dragging your feet on purpose, or you're too witless and sluggish to obey my orders. I have no use for traitors or fools. Was I wrong to believe, Sophia? Should I just dispose of you and find someone who can do better?
Fuck. Ah, shit. Lowering your head, you implore Felipe to forgive your failure. If the advisor could just wait a little longer. Felipe taps the desk annoyed, then lets out a tired sigh.
You don't seem to understand, Brante. There's only one thing that matters in our line of work. Results. And if you can't get results, you're of no use to me.
Felipe rises, snaps his fingers, and points right at you. His goons instantly rush to your side and twist your arms behind your back. They push you onto the desk. Papers and writing implements scatter across the floor. Oliver looks at you with genuine compassion.
Tough break, Volker.
Felipe towers over you like a grim shadow.
I do not tolerate failure from my subordinates, Brante.
The advisor gestures to Moss. You try to say something to explain, to assure Felipe of your loyalty. Moss puts one hand on the back of your head and the other on your chin. Your neck snaps with a sickening crunch. Darkness falls. Second death. Impenetrable darkness surrounds you. You stand alone, bare to your very essence. It paralyzes you. You have an urge to cover yourself to hide. No one should see you so vulnerable. But you cannot conceal the truth in this place. You are bathed in an unbearably bright light. It has no hint of warmth to it. It is blinding. It leaves no shadows in the entire world. It is the light of the shining pillar itself. In this radiance, you can clearly see all your thoughts and doubts, your errors and transgressions, the contradictions that have permeated you since birth. They cover you from head to toe, like rough gray tatters, but they melt away in this light. You are naked. You feel liberated and whole. It is as though all the wounds and cracks in your soul have been healed, making it the way it should be. It is as though the scales have fallen from your eyes. You see the true shapes of things now. These are the laws by which the world abides. The grand design that moves life itself. You tread a path that is barely visible in the blinding light, giving shape to everything. In this light, you see the infinite complexity of the world, from the tiniest leaf to the enormity of the empire, and this world maintains its balance by virtue of the law that was embedded in it during the act of creation. Ahead of you, two figures are waiting on the path. They are gigantic, many times taller than a man. The elder holds a lash, the younger a sword. The younger gazes at you sternly, coldly. You kneel obediently before him and lower your head. The god raises his sword above you. This is divine retribution. There is no law without it, nor can there be. Every action has consequences. This is what shapes the world, making its very existence possible. In this moment, beneath the gaze of the merciless God, you comprehend the law that binds the entire world together. Which manifestation of the law, and will you live by? The blade flashes. The younger's sword slashes through the air above your head. You do not yet deserve your final punishment. The law demands that you continue your life. Your form has not been completely destroyed, nor has that of the world. The younger extends its gigantic hand and shows you the way. You must proceed. The path leads you to the top of the crown of the silver tree, spread wide in the white gleam. The branches are close now. It is time to descend. You are drawn downward, into darkness. The shadows that had disappeared in the blinding glow creep around you and envelop you. This is to be expected, but the purity and clarity of spirit are still with you. Something is forcing your throat open. Air. It scratches you on the inside. Your soul is filled with struggle again, with the contradictions from which the fabric of this world and you yourself are woven. The divine light that gave you clarity is fading away with each passing moment. You have to open your eyes. Above you is the dark ceiling of the crypt. You are reborn. The crypt is quiet. A ray of light from a tiny window strikes your eyes. You awaken. You sit up, your feet touching the stone floor. You instinctively reach for your neck. You are lucky. This death was just a warning. You cannot expect Advisor El Faro to be so merciful next time. Okay, well that'll have to be where we end the video here, so I hope you all enjoyed this video. Give that like button a stab if you did. As be sure to subscribe if you want more death in your life. Please don't let any more happen to me. And until next time, rest in peace. Bye! Enjoyed today's video? Well, there's plenty more for you to enjoy here. And if you also want to support this small channel, then there is also my Ko-fi, which is available, as well as a Twitter thread that gives you my commissioning info. And if you'd like some traditional art or literature, feel free to DM me on Twitter. Thank you for enjoying the video and for your viewership.